Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for this week's office hours. My name is George Soto, one of the co-founders here at AssetMule, joined by some really special guests. I'm a little, not a little, I'm very excited about these rock stars today, and we're gonna kind of go around the horn here in a second and introduce ourselves. But real quick, for the folks out there, today we're gonna be digging into, admittedly, one of my favorite topics, and that is how to build demo centers that convert using interactive demos. And for some of you folks who are tuning in, you might know that I was in the interactive demo space a couple years ago, launched a startup in this space, and was very fired up about the demo center use case. In fact, some of our most exciting and successful customers were using demo centers, right? So really great stuff. Real quick, just, Justin, why don't you kind of go through the agenda, and then, Jason and Eric, maybe you can give a little bit about your background and kind of what you're doing right now with DemoDash.
Awesome. Yeah. No, I'm super excited for this one as well. And thanks, Jason, Eric, for joining us. When I think of you guys, I think of you as the demo guys. Obviously, I've been following you for a while on LinkedIn individually, and then you guys joined forces on DemoDash, and I've been reading your newsletter, and just really excited at this opportunity to partner with you guys on our template, which we'll get into a little bit later. But for today, we're really going to be talking about this rise of demo centers, right? I think Navattic reported that in the last year, they've seen this become one of the biggest use cases for interactive demos. And I know you guys have been talking a lot about it as well. So today, what we really want to talk about is, why demo centers are sort of becoming the thing in B2B SaaS these days. We'd love to dive into sort of how you guys are thinking about demo centers, and as you're working with your clients, what best practices you're recommending, and maybe even get into some examples of your favorite demo centers that you've seen out there. And then obviously, this is AssetMule. We love talking about sales enablement, and we believe that interactive demos and demo centers have a really big role to play in sales enablement. So really would love to dive into that use case specifically and get your perspective on how you see product marketers enabling their sales teams with interactive demos and demo centers. And then if we have some time at the end, we can show the template that we just released earlier this week with you guys that allows for personalized demo centers. But maybe you guys very quickly, before we dive into the meat of it, for those that don't know you, tell us about Jason, tell us about Eric and DemoDash and what you guys do.
Yeah, Eric, you go first.
Oh, well, all right. Eric Holland here. Longtime product marketer, a little bit of SaaS, a little bit of actual Fortune whatever number manufacturing. And I got to actually inherit Navattic. Thankful to Jason. Jason got it started over at Clue, and I inherited it next in line, and very quickly became one of my favorite ways to do a lot of different things. I think the immediate one we already mentioned, sales enablement. And so that kind of led me directly into building one of the demo centers that hopefully people are looking at as an example. And shortly after that, Jason and I decided to start bringing our minds together. So it was a natural thing. We both are nerds and love demos, and it was really exciting to partner with him on something.
Nice. Yeah, and thanks, Justin and George, for having us. Everyone, I'm Jason. I've been a product marketer for probably just over a decade, but I've been in B2B SaaS sales marketing for longer than that. I was always a founding PMM, and so then a couple of years ago, I went out on my own and started Productive PMM, where I coach, create resources for, and advise companies that are either trying to build out their product marketing function or those first founding PMMs that are trying to build everything from scratch. And one of the my favorite pieces of product marketing content has been interactive demos. And I started working with the Navattic team as an advisor a couple of years ago, over a couple of years ago now, because I was an early customer at Clue. And yeah, I think that it's taken off for good reason. And yeah, Eric and I both kind of bonded over the love of interactive demos, and we thought, hey, there needs to be like a company that can help people build these, because just like any good piece of content, right? Like it's just a matter of like bandwidth and how much time you have to actually like put these types of tools and content to good use. So we figured, hey, let's like build an agency. So that was it.
Real quick,
Awesome.
For the folks out there, if you do have any questions, comments, feedback, go ahead and put it in the comments section. I'll be monitoring those. You're probably watching this on LinkedIn or YouTube.
Well, I guess to start, why don't we talk a little bit about the rise of demo centers, right? I think like we've seen this shift in the last couple of years where SaaS companies started with just a single demo on their homepage. Then we started seeing sort of like different use case interactive demos, or maybe interactive demos for different personas. And now we're seeing demo centers. When did you guys start seeing these sort of really emerge, and sort of what do you think the reason behind the last year, that 3.75 times, more demo centers than Navattic quoted in the report? Like what's the reason behind that?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because this year it's 3.75x. I think the last report that they did, I think it was like went from 0% of people had one to like 20 or 30 something percent of like Navattic customers had a demo center. So I think, because I was thinking about this, before as we were prepping, I think first off, like one of the reasons interactive demo centers are becoming more popular is just one of the reasons why I think interactive demos are becoming more popular. And it's all just about like how people actually want to buy. I don't know if anyone's checked out, because like I was looking at Winter's B2B buyer journey study before this. It's like the team at Winter, they basically surveyed 100 B2B SaaS executives. And out of those 100, 91% said they come to a sales meeting already familiar with a vendor. And then 97% check out the vendor's website, right? Beforehand, right? Before they even talk to the vendor. And 82% use interactive demos or some other virtual way of checking out the tool. So to me, I was like, okay, so clearly this is the way that people want to buy. They want to see the product. They don't want to have to give you their information. They don't want to hop on a call, right? They, even if you have a free product, right? Or like a freemium plan or a trial, people still, there's like some investment they have to do there with signing up, maybe trying to like wait until they see data flowing into the tool, whatever. So an interactive demo allows them to just see it, understand the value of it really quick. And so that's why I think interactive demos are like becoming more and more popular. Interactive demo centers, I think earlier in my career, I worked at a company called Uberflip, and Uberflip was basically creating resource centers. Like they were a platform for creating a better way to consume content. The whole concept was content experience, which was you could have a blog, you could have a PDF, but it's like the experience of letting people more easily find the things that are relevant to them, more relevant to their use cases, contextual, like all of that. That was the whole point of like a better content experience. And so a demo center is just a better content experience, and the content is interactive demos. And so I think naturally, like interactive demos are more popular because that's how people want to buy. A demo center is more popular because it's just a better experience for giving interactive demos to your buyers. And so I think that it's just this kind of evolution of now people are like, yeah, interactive demos are awesome. I want them. I want to create them more specific to like use cases and context. And then I want to package it in a way where it's easy for people to find what they need. And so that's why I think it's just kind of, it makes sense while they're becoming more popular.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's cool to think, when I thought of interactive demos originally, I thought, oh, this makes a ton of sense for complex products, right? I didn't think about it for the PLG use case, right? I thought, okay, like a very complicated product that it would be impossible for them to do a free trial or like a freemium model. This is a really great way to showcase it. But I am seeing more and more PLG companies as well use it. As you said, some of these companies, people just, want to see something before they sign up, or like you said, there might be some like data setup that's required to really get to value. And I think the interactive demos sort of help them get that taste of it immediately. And then there's also like, I guess with the demo centers, the different use cases or the different personas, right? Like signing up for a freemium product and immediately being able to see how to use it for your own use case, or like being able to show it to somebody else for a different use case or for their persona might be a little bit more difficult, versus if you have that curated demo center that shows it, it makes it a lot easier to share that internally. So I guess one follow-up question I have as we think about demo centers, what are the different ways that you see people structuring these demo centers, right? Like we talked about use case persona, but like what are different ways? And as you work with your own clients and you sort of like advise them on setting up their first demo center, what are some tips that you give them, or some advice, maybe some examples that you've also pointed to of demo centers that are really like hitting the nail on the head with how to approach it?
Yeah. What do you think, Eric? Should we jump into the deck where we had the like?
Yeah, I was going to say we've got some visuals we can show with it too. Are you pulling that up? I'll just talk a little.
Yeah.
I think what's actually super interesting. So since I built a demo center, I think there was like some intention both from my end and the brand side on how we carved it out. Right, it was very intentional in terms of we want to make this persona based, with the thinking that there is no full funnel asset out there right now. Right, you have to make one asset for one type of persona, change that message for another one, right? So the premise was let's organize these by persona and the use cases within that persona, so we can effectively have messages for each of those people, but created underneath the umbrella of one asset. What I think a mistake that we made during that process is a little bit of getting a little bit too creative and a little bit of just the general Q&A piece. And what I like recently is people, like Jason said, kind of that traditional resource center style. We've been starting to see that come up, in which you can just quickly categorize each tour, filter what you need, and get to the actual tours you care about. So there's a lot of different ways that I think they're starting to cut them out now. And Jason, if you want to show some of these examples here.
Yeah. Can you, I hate to ask this, can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
We can see it.
Cool. All right. So yeah, we've given this presentation a couple of times now. And in this part here, it's answering that exact thing. It's like, okay, you're going to create an interactive demo center. Like, what should it look like? How do you organize it or structure it? And so we have a few of these examples here. So this one here is user evidences, demo range. So one tip we always say with interactive demos, or Eric is a big one for this, is naming it. And so Demo Arena was the one at Clue. Demo Ranch was at User Evidence.
Yeah, but do not build a demo center. Take a lot of time and love. Give it a cool name. You spend a lot of time on it. Give it a personality.
There you go. Exactly. And so the ranch is, it's, as you can see here, this example here, be breaking it down by use case. So if you look at User Evidence as a platform, there are these like 5 jobs to be done within it, right? So there's collecting, curating, sharing, managing your advocates, and then getting people to leave you reviews. And so they have in their interactive demo center, it's this style similar to the template in AssetMule. But this one here is, it's one page, everything's embedded, and it brings you down through these different jobs to be done. Right. And so this is a pretty common one we see. The template that we'll show you later is kind of broken down in this sort of style. And this is a great, especially, if you have like 4 or 5 interactive demos, right? This type of thing where they're all embedded on one page is pretty cool. It's a good example of like how to use those 5 in a demo center that's just a single page. Another good example of this would be Dooley. So we call this one like the next gen platform overview page. So everyone's familiar with the product overview page on a site. And usually it brings you down through, could be different use cases or a different core, like, highlighted features or capabilities of the product. And there's, an image, and it might be a static image or maybe some abstract animation. Why not make it an interactive demo? And so with Dooley, you actually go to their platform overview page. And if you actually go to the Dooley homepage now, their CTA in the top right is sending you to this page. The main single like CTA in their hero is sending you to this page. And then if you go to their main nav and you go under product, the product overview link takes you to this page. So they're really focusing on driving people to this page. And so you could see it's like an interactive demos embedded, but there's like messaging, they're calling out specific capabilities or value props underneath it. So it's really structured kind of like a platform overview page, which is cool. Then you have persona specific demo centers. So this is the demo arena. Eric put this one together. So it's, actually, Eric, you speak to this one.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, how Clue basically was structured, they had a champion buyer, and then they had all of these influencers that got their hands in once the deal got going. So we wanted to make, it very clear to each of those stakeholders why they should be invested in the Clue. Of course, we started with the champion and then made the rest follow suit, but packaged them all inside one single demo center and one resource so that it could be shared easily and get that buy-in a lot faster.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like every persona has their own page with multiple demos embedded. And then when you get to these, I liked how it's kind of their different use cases or jobs to be done for that particular persona, which is awesome. So very cool example, almost like combining persona and use case into one, which is great. This one here is one of my favorite demo centers. It's from a company called Athenian. And why I like this one is because when you're on their demo center page, they have this section that breaks it down by, they preface it with what challenge are you facing? And so the idea here is to really get people to look at a demo that's in the context of, hey, this is how we solve this problem for you. And because this one was hooked up to HubSpot, they were able to, when a rep was about to hop on a call with a prospect, if they had looked at interactive demos, they could actually see what things they were interested in most, which was really cool. Good sales enablement kind of aspect to this too. And so they come into the call more educated, ready to talk about specific things that the prospect cares about. The thing we call out on this page here is that it doesn't have to be all interactive demos. So if you go to Winter and you go to their, I think it's platform tour, product tour page, you'll actually see that it's a mix of things. So it's, they have example test results. They have a whole section that's Navattic demos, and then they have explainer videos. So the whole intent around these types of demo centers is just to allow your prospect to be able to, or your customer, to come in and see the product in whatever way suits them best. So we're big fans of interactive demos, but maybe there's certain things that require a bit more of like a video explanation, right? Or like something where you want to have a video. There's nothing saying you can't have both. And another thing too is I've had interactive demos. I've built plenty where you embed a video in it, right? If you go to like the Jetpack landing page, for example, the interactive demo there has multiple videos because I wanted to like have a bit more of a, you see my face, you hear from me specifically about why I built certain things. So yeah, it doesn't have to all be interactive demos. And then this one here is about rethinking traditional content. So going back to that resource center idea, one of the things that you often find in resource centers is case studies. And when you're thinking about interactive demos, it's not necessarily that your demo center has to just be demos, in that you click on it and you're put right into the demo. The cool thing here that Vitally does is they have this whole concept of what they call blueprints, which are essentially customer case studies. And they're talking about how, Procurify uses Vitally to do X, Y, and Z, right? And in every one of these case studies, they have an interactive demo that they built that actually walks you through how this customer would have set this up in Vitally. And so it's a very cool way to like combine demos, a demo center with customer evidence, customer case studies, that sort of thing. So it's a very cool example. And yeah, so those are some like the different ways that you can structure these. I think that, that there's the other one that we don't have an example of here, but that Eric mentioned is like companies like Writer, for example. Cvent, I think, was the other one that we were looking at just this past week. And they have a really good example of it's just like, the demos have different tags based on different tags like industry or use case or anything like that, persona. You can actually narrow it down to the demos that are most relevant to you, just like you would in a resource center. So yeah, those are some examples there for you.
There was a question that came in, and maybe this is a good segue into like the sales enablement use case, but Pedro asked, what stage in the funnel would my demo center be made for? And it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like some of these are sort of top of the funnel, awareness stage. Somebody just became aware of a solution and they're trying to get a sense of, okay, what does this thing do? Who does it do it for? And what problems specifically is it solving? But then you've also showed Vitaly's blueprints where maybe that's more the consideration stage, where like now they're trying to get some social proof and understand, okay, who else is using this thing and how are they using it? And demo centers can be a great, or interactive demos can be great for that as well. And then now we're talking a little bit about sales enablement as well. So I'm curious to get your perspective on that question, but then also specifically sales enablement and the template. Like, how are you seeing interactive demos and demo centers being used in sales enablement? And tell us about this template and like kind of the idea behind it. When should somebody use it and how should they use it?
Yeah, I'll hop in. Pedro, answer your question. We set up analytics with Clue's Demo Arena, and it was pretty clear that all stages throughout the funnel, it was getting used. Lots of new demo requests coming in, lots of companies that were already like in opportunity stage, and then the rep would introduce them to the Demo Arena, and that's when we'd first start tracking them. And then all the way, of course, to the late stages where they needed to get buy-in from other stakeholders. So in the one column, in the loss column, you saw big numbers from all of the influence that this actually had. So again, earlier I said full funnel. That's how you can kind of think about these depending on how you build them. And then in the sales enablement aspect, like by far the only time in my career where I've been able to ship a piece of content to sales with very limited context, and then in the next day, next week, following weeks, get feedback of like, hey, this is awesome. I use this on calls all the time. And I know traditionally it's like you gotta repeat things 7, 8, 10 times for things to click. This was that first time where it was like, hey, here's something awesome, go use it. And that was actually the case and it was happening. So big proponent of how these get used in sales enablement, particularly when you've got some new features coming out and you can kind of package that into the whole center. It was a great way to get, especially some of the new onboarded reps acclimated with the whole suite of products that normally would take, months and months of them trying to onboard themselves. We had instances where they're actually reps that were getting onboarded faster than they were through normal onboardings. So
yeah, it's like companies that I might work with in like as a product marketing consultant and things like that. It's amazing how you talk to sales reps and the content that they want to share when you really get down to it is like, if they don't have an interactive demo, for example, they're just like demo videos. Just give me a quick demo video of how this feature works. And that's what I want to send the prospect. Those are always the most often used things. And they often become like outdated really quick, or you got a rep who tries to put one together and it's just in a really bad looking demo environment. Like it's just all these different factors where it's just hard for them to make these, right? And it's just, but they are the things that show the product are the most popular content. And it's, I think it's just because they hop off call the prospect and the prospect just, like, they want to be able to send something that's a summary of what they might have shown them on a call or what they're talking about, how we solve a particular problem that people just want to see how. And so that's why I think this kind of content is like, it's what they want. It's what they're going to use. So,
you know what the second most requested piece of content is, Jason?
Oh, good. I don't know.
One pagers. What a segue.
I love the hat.
Let's check out that template.
Oh yeah.
Eric, I'll Venmo you now.
What's up, George?
I'll Venmo you now.
Shameless plug, right? No, but seriously, I think like in reality, it is by far one of the most requested pieces of content I've ever been asked for. Yeah. And I made this comment on LinkedIn, but now the next time someone asks me for a one pager, my request is going to be exactly what Jason's about to show you. Let me go show you something.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jason, I'm not sure if you got it up right now. I can keep clogging the airways.
You guys see it? It should be
up.
There it goes. Yeah.
Coming.
There it is.
There it is.
Okay.
Woohoo!
It's been up for a while, but hopefully there's no delay. Can you see me scrolling in it?
Yeah.
Yep. We can see it.
Cool. Okay. So this is the DemoDash, Demo Center template. Say that 10 times fast. So, I even remember going back to like my time with like Uberflip, for example. One of the most popular use cases for something like Uberflip was building these personalized collections of content for prospects. And the idea here of a rep being able to do that same thing, right? Obviously, that's a big part of what AssetMule is. What allows them to do is very quickly be able to share these personalized landing page experiences with prospects. But the ability for them to put together a landing page like this that has all of your interactive demos, or more importantly, the most relevant ones, is really, it's a game changer for sales reps who, if you have a demo center, well, obviously we're big proponents and big advocates of having a demo center on your website. But imagine for a prospect to receive a page that is built custom for them and just has the demos that they care about. It's a much better experience for your prospects. It makes it look like the rep knows them and cares about them and understands their pains. And so not only is it effective, but it's actually really easy to build. And so in AssetMule now with this template, I'll walk you through it. It's very straightforward, but at the top here, you essentially have the top hero logo bar, I used to call it. But obviously what you're going to do is you're going to swap out these logos. And so you'll swap in your company logo, or you go over and you'll essentially create a theme, and the theme will have your own brand colors. You could by default change this template so it automatically has your logo, all those things. Then they'll come over and swap in the customer logo. So it's really easy. They can just search for the company's domain name, automatically pull in the logo, or they can upload it. Easy for them to do and quickly personalize it to the prospect. This banner down, or the hero section, I guess we'll call it down here. So I personally like the idea of putting like a Loom video in here. This is how I would use the template. And it's a chance for you to just have like a welcome video. Hey, great chatting with you. Want to put together this collection of interactive demos for you, all that. And then you can just swap out the video link for yours. But some other people do like to put like their overview demo in here, where if you're just going to look at one demo, here's the one for you. Maybe it's the most important demo, that sort of thing. Then you have the logo bar down here. Very easy for you to swap in logos again. That'd be for companies that you worked with. The cool thing here as well is you can have different logo collections. And so for your reps too, it's like you could have logo collections based on different industries or different product lines or verticals or anything like that, where it's just really easy for them to swap those in and out. Makes their life a lot easier. And then we get down to the demos. So this is where it's kind of like that long page, that user evidence example, where everything's embedded on the page. So they can actually go through these interactive demos right here on the page. They're all embedded. And it's just the embed and then a tagline and copy. And both are really easy to swap out. So if you are a product marketer, you come into AssetMule and you're actually building out your library of their new Navattic component integration, which makes it really easy to build out your library of Navattic demos. So boom, 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 you have them all in there. It's very easy for reps to swap these in and out. And then same thing for this copy over here. You can actually have pre-written copy that'll go beside the interactive demo. And it's very easy for them to swap that in and out too. So they can come in here and customize this page in a matter of like a minute, right? To get to swap in the demos that they need. They can swap in and add social proof down here. Same sort of thing. You can have social proof tagged by different industries, different personas, all of that. And then they can embed their calendar link down here. Whether it's something like Chili Piper, for example, they can put that link in here so that they can schedule their call. So it's a very simple thing to build, but to be able to give this to a prospect is really a game changer.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you guys working with us on this template. We're super excited to get it into our customers' hands and for joining us today to dive deep into demo centers. I know we're at time. This will live on LinkedIn. So anybody that has questions for Jason and Eric, feel free to add them in the comments and we'll attend to them as we can. But real quick, before we let you guys go, where's the best place for folks to follow you if they want to learn more about DemoDash, how you can help, or just follow your content? I know you got a newsletter. You guys are active in various places. So what would you recommend for folks to follow along?
Yeah. So both of us are on LinkedIn. So just Jason Oakley, Eric Holland. Like you said, we have a newsletter. If you go to demodash.agency, that's our website. So there you can subscribe to our newsletter. It's called Show Don't Tell. and you can find out about everything related to DemoDash if you do need help with interactive demos, because we work with companies that use Navattic and have tons of ideas for how they want to leverage interactive demos, but just don't have the bandwidth and the time that they need, or potentially the know-how or the best practices to build these remarkable interactive demos. And so that's what we do.
Awesome. And we'll also link to the template for those that want to check it out in more detail and use it. We'll link to it as well in the comments. But again, guys, thanks so much for working with us on this template. It's been real fun, and joining us today. It's just been a real pleasure to have you guys on here.
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's super fun to build this template. So hopefully lots of people can use it.
Yeah, and it looks great.
Awesome.
All right,
Thank you. And thanks so much to everyone joining. Stacy, thanks for the comments. We had some interactive demo fans here who've tuned in. So have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thanks, guys.
See everybody.